President Biden mending fences and building new relationships on the world stage in Italy. Mr. Biden is taking part in the annual G20 summit of major economies in Rome. This is the first in-person meeting of the leaders since the pandemic began. Mr. Biden's years of foreign policy experience will be tested on this visit as he seeks commitments on issues ranging from vaccine sharing to supply chain delays. All of this is taking place as Democrats in Washington grapple with two giant pieces of the president's domestic agenda: the sharply cut $1.75 trillion social spending plan and the $1 trillion infrastructure bill. Weijia Jiang is traveling with the president and has more from Rome. Weijia, good morning.
Good morning to you, Michelle, and good morning to everybody. Here in Rome, President Biden's message is that the U.S. is steadfastly committed to allies and to face-to-face diplomacy. It's a message that apparently was received by the Italian Prime Minister, who in his opening remarks took a swipe at the Trump administration, saying that the previous policy of America first was just not going to work, and that the group had faced nationalism, but going at it alone is not an option.
This morning, world leaders will focus on ending the pandemic with more vaccine sharing, curbing Iran's nuclear ambitions, tackling climate change, and fixing the supply chain issues driving up prices everywhere. But on Friday night, the president was working to repair his relationship with French President Emmanuel Macron, who called it a betrayal when the U.S. and U.K. struck a submarine deal with Australia in September, canceling out an agreement with France worth tens of billions of dollars.
What we did was clumsy. I was under the impression that France had been informed long before.
Earlier, President Biden, a devout Catholic, also met with Pope Francis, including an unusually long private meeting that lasted for 75 minutes.
You are the most significant warrior for peace I've ever met.
Back home in the U.S., some conservative bishops are calling for Mr. Biden to be denied communion because he supports abortion rights. The president said he and the Pope did not talk about abortion, but that the pontiff said this.
We just talked about the fact that he was happy I was a good Catholic and I should keep receiving communion.
He said that you should keep receiving communion.
Yes.
They also spoke about the president's proposals to confront the climate crisis in his social spending bill, which Democrats have yet to agree on, despite President Biden's urgent pleas to pass the plan.
This is about competitiveness versus complacency. It's about expanding opportunity, not opportunity denied. It's about leading the world or letting the world pass us by.
Today, President Biden will make a push for a global minimum tax on corporations worldwide, which could help make up some revenue to pay for that huge spending package. And then tomorrow, he heads off to Glasgow, Scotland for a climate summit. Dana?
The president had hoped that that social spending package you mentioned would be a done deal before the climate summit. So what impact of not having an agreement will there be?
So right before President Biden came here to Italy, he announced a framework of that bill that does include $550 billion to fight climate change. But that's not a bill, and it's certainly not a law. So without a concrete plan, it will be tougher for him to force other countries to push them to make commitments as well. But White House officials insist that world leaders know the complexities of legislation and that the U.S. is going to lead the fight to reduce pollution. Dana?
All right, Weijia Jiang in Rome. Thank you, Weijia.